So the ribbons still remain on the trophy and the color still remains blue. I'm sure the Arsenal fans were hoping that the Premier League board will probably change the colors of the ribbon to red this time, but it was never going to happen. Hey, maybe I could ask the guys: were they ever in doubt that City playing at home to West Ham, a West Ham side that in the last 6 games had just won one and really had a very bad patch leading to this game. We're really going to, in Kofi's words, but put what in the bicycle rules of. But listen, it was typical City. I said, when we went to the first half, when we went for the first half break, that they've been here before. They've done it close to about 3 occasions under Pep Guardiola. And so they were not faced by the situation. You saw how relaxed they were passing the ball, very patient, hoping for opportunities to come for them to pick those opportunities up. And they did it to perfection. Manchester City have done the unthinkable: 4 league trophies consecutively in the Premier League. Never done before. Sir Alex Ferguson did 3, and we thought that, well, no manager could do it. Pep Guardiola comes, he equals our record. And as they say in poker, I would match you up and I'll raise you a card better. Manchester City have done the 4-peat. First time in the history of the Premier League. But my guys are here, as I told you earlier on. Kofi, I said, when I was watching the game, Kofi, I was saying, for United and Liverpool fans, maybe Kubia, they will still throw. If it goes in favor of Arsenal, they will throw City. If it goes for City, they will throw Arsenal. But Kofi, let's get into the game. But guys, if you just join us, kindly share the link. We are across both Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you share the link on all the pages as well. And we need to hear from you in the comment section. What do you make of City's performance, lifting the trophy for the 4th time consecutively? And what do you think of Arsenal? And I'll ask my guys this question: is Arsenal's season a failed season because did they win any trophy? No, Arsenal did not win any trophy. Would Arsenal consider their season a failed season? My guys would answer this question, but let me go to Kofi Asedu first. Kofi,
yes.
City have done the unprecedented 4 league titles in a row. On a row, sorry.
Well, I think that when we came here last week, the discussion at the center of last week was whether City could probably go on and win the 4th unprecedented league title, the first of its kind ever in the annals of English football. And I told you that records are meant to be broken. Indeed, I mean, if you follow the trajectory of everything that City have been able to do over the past few years, and the Pep Guardiola, he's been there for 8+ years, and if you follow what he's been able to do for City and how they've been able to negotiate the difficult pitches or the difficult portions when it comes to their title running. When I was coming in, I was listening to BBC, and the commentator kept saying that this was their 9th consecutive league win. And so if you look at the shift that City have had to put in the second, exactly. I mean, so if you look at the shift they had to put in towards the end of the league, it tells you how strong mentally they are. I think that it was never in doubt. Indeed, last week I told you that it was not going to go in any direction but in City's direction. But if you look at the events that happened today, you would even realize that it looks like Arsenal going into the game knew that it was going to take absolutely a miracle for them to win the league title. At certain point in time, I was monitoring the 2 games, and when City had the second goal, the Arsenal supporters were just clapping for their players. I mean, it was a bit heartbreaking. It was a bit heartbreaking, but I mean, it tells you how ruthless City have been over the last few weeks. It tells you how ruthless they've been on this run under Pep Guardiola, and I think that Arsenal probably are feeling the pains that have been suffered.
Manchester United,
Manchester United and Jose Mourinho. Remember when Jose Mourinho famously said that declared that placing second with this Manchester United team to City meant a lot of things. I mean, if you look at the things that City have had to do right as a football club, if you look at the structures they've had to put in place, if you look at the things that they have done in the background to make sure that the machine keeps running efficiently, you'll be amazed that anybody could come this close to them. I think the City finishing 2 points ahead of us now. For me, looking back retrospectively, I think that Arsenal shot themselves in the foot.
What do you think Arsenal, the damage was done?
Two games.
Yeah.
2 games. That defeat to Aston Villa at home won, because, in fact, I mean, that defeat, if it had been avoided, if it had gone to plan, Arsenal would be league champions today.
Yeah.
And then that game at the Etihad, I think that game at the Etihad potentially had that penchant to swing the pendulum back firmly in their favor.
I told someone that Arsenal played more not to lose than to win.
I watched the whole of that game this dawn, and watching that game, I think that these are moments that Arsenal will probably look back at their season and regret they didn't take the actions they were supposed to take. Because if you look at that game, clearly that was a game that City was there for the taking. And clearly that was a game that Arsenal showed to the rest of the world that they had arrived. And I think that to make that statement of intent, they could have gone ahead and did the damage on City. Yeah. And it would have swung the pendulum deeply in their favor. But for me, kudos to Arsenal, deputy league champions. They've given it their best shot.
Kudos second place with nothing to.
Well, I think it's only good for the record books. You spoke about the fact that will Arsenal seasons be deemed a failure.
We'll come back to that, and we'll probably look at based on, because I chanced on some figures somewhere. And clearly, if you're a numbers person, if you believe in the stat, which you are not so much, as a proponent of, you think Arsenal's season was a huge success, looking at where they came from. But then, Kofi, I'll go to Percy, but does City's win 4 titles in a row cement Pep Guardiola's legacy in the Premier League as the greatest manager in the history of the Premier League, looking at the number of years he spent in the Premier League?
Well, I don't think he's the greatest manager. First of all, we must be a bit cautious. All of the things that City are doing now potentially could be wiped away.
Let's not even
exactly.
bring in the 155 time, because everything they've done is
everything they've had to do it through a shrewd manner. And I think
allegedly.
No, I mean,
so they play their football in a shrewd manner.
No, I'm saying
How
that
does the football affect?
Listen, there's the amount of resources that have been afforded City. Let's not kid ourselves. City are dominating not because Pep Guardiola is extraordinary. Hold on. City are dominating the APL not because Pep Guardiola is extremely extraordinary. I don't think that if you judge the performance of this City team vis-a-vis the performance of Arsenal, I don't think that Pep Guardiola is head over shoulders above Arteta. They are dominating the Premier. No. They are dominating the Premier League, especially now, because of the deep resources they have, because of the quality of the human resource they have. Let's not kid ourselves and think that money has not played a role in getting City where they are today. Look at the bench of City today. Look how many teams in the PL can speak of the depth of quality of the bench of City. And so Arteta has coached Arsenal right all season. I don't think that Pep Guardiola is anything extraordinary more than what Arteta has done this season. If you look at all of the angles, if you look at all of the perspectives, he's won the league because probably he has experienced quality players who cost the club a lot of money. And that money allegedly has been facilitated by underhand dealings. So this was not to sway, but I'm coming back to the subject matter. The truth of the matter is that I don't think he's the greatest. He's won 6 league titles.
Six.
6 and 7, 4 in a row.
No, not 6 and 7. He's been there for 8+ years.
He
Eight,
came in
9 years.
2016.
Yeah,
so
so-
this is
Yeah.
8 years.
So 8 years, but 6 and 7.
No.
No.
He's won
6 in 8
years.
years.
He's
Not
won 6
6 in 8 years.
Okay.
Let's not do that.
Okay, 6 in 8
Exactly.
years.
He's won 6 in 8. I think that is quite commendable. But there again, I do not think that there's been a manager in the history of the PL who has spent more money than Pep Guardiola has. 6 league titles, 1 Champions League trophy, countless Carabao Cups. I think it's commendable. Probably he'll fall in the category of best 2 managers. I don't think that he's legendary beyond Alex Ferguson. I don't think so. I mean, what Alex Ferguson did with the club Manchester United and how he had to revolutionize the whole process of making his team better and better. I do not think that Pep Guardiola is better in terms of legacy than Alex Ferguson.
Okay, so I'll come back to Percy, but I disagree on the bit of, the issue about money. I always say when people bring about the issue of money and Pep Guardiola, I mean, it will be preposterous of me to sit here and say money does not play a role in the way football is now. Obviously, money does play a role. Name one team in the world that has, achieved so much success without a certain. I'm actually making.
Real Madrid has won a lot of trophies, having not spent this kind of money that City has.
And let me finish making my point. You know where I'm coming from, and it was not meant to be answered though. So name a single team that has achieved so much success without having to spend a certain amount of money in quote. So we speak about, you mentioned Real Madrid, and I always say fans are, like Mahama would say, fans are a bit forgetful sometimes, because we sit here, we call Real Madrid the era of the Galacticos. We mention all that names, but nobody tags Real Madrid as that era when they were dominating Spanish football, they were dominating European football. Nobody made mention of money, because there was a season Real Madrid bought Cristiano Ronaldo and Kaká in the same transfer window. I mean, 2 world best players in the same transfer window. I'm yet to see that happen in the history of football. That same season, they bought Kaká first, then they brought in Cristiano Ronaldo. But nobody talks about that. So Real Madrid are one of those teams that at some point, they no matter who you are, they will splash money to get you. There was a time they brought in Luis Figo for world record fee from Barcelona. They brought in Ronaldo from Inter Milan. Name the players they brought in. They brought in Zinedine Zidane from Juventus at world record fee. But nobody talks about that because it is Real Madrid. I don't want to even talk about money, because I have figures here which a lot of people say throw the issue of money around. And if you look at the last 5 seasons, on the league table of net spend, City are actually 4th. Spurs are ahead of City. Arsenal are ahead of City. Chelsea are leading the pack. So for me, I do not think that money plays football. Money does not play football, and I agree to the fact that you need in the current frame of things, you need a certain level of financial backing to achieve a certain level of success to a certain limit. You probably need to build a foundation, but that money will never get you the success you want. And Pep Guardiola, I think that in a recent interview alluded to that listen, if it's about money, the likes of United now should be winning trophies. If it's about money, because in the last 18 months, Chelsea have spent more than any club in the Premier League, over 1.2 billion pounds in the last 18 months.
How much has Pep Guardiola spent at City?
In his entire career?
Yes.
I think the last time...
8 years, how much has he spent?
The last time we checked...
Close to 2 billion.
No, it's not close.
No.
Don't derail me from my thoughts, then I'll move to Percy. So what I'm saying here is that you need money to do something, to lay the foundation, because right now, football is business. Players do not come cheap. So a player like, if you are buying a player like Paqueta will not come cheap. Right now, if you want to buy a player like Anthony was bought for 80 million euros. I mean, you would think that a player coming in for that amount of money would probably give you the results you need. But look at Anthony now. Kudos was bought for less than 40 million pounds. But if you just oppose the performance of Kudos to Anthony, you will not talk about money here, because Kudos has given him more in relation to what West Ham is getting from Kudos than what United is getting from Anthony. So I agree that you need money, but money does not play football. City bought Akanji for 50 million euros. Could you imagine? But Akanji is one of the best centre backs in the Premier League. Has been for a while. City bought Erling Haaland for 55 million. How much was Darwin Núñez bought for? Your man. Darwin Núñez was bought for close to, I think, 80-something million pounds. You let me finish making my point, then I switch to Percy.
The whole of the world that City bought Erling Haaland.
That was his purchasing price.
That is why they are being investigated.
So you see, let's deal with what we have. You do not who in this current football regime adds agent fees to a player fee. Nobody does that. Obviously, everybody will say, oh, agent will take that. How much did the agent of Anthony take? Nobody knows that.
No, but what's
my point here is that we could say, okay, there may probably be underhand dealings with his agent and United. So long as we do not know that, we don't throw that in the conversation. We deal with what we know. My point here is that I will not be blind to the fact that you need money to achieve. But the success of City and Pep Guardiola, you can't say, oh, they are where they are because of money. It's like the three of us sitting here. We are blessed with being millionaires. Then our children attend the same school. Then I'll sit back, or somebody will sit back and say, Kofi's child is intelligent because he attends probably school A. No, there are students in that school A who are not as intelligent as Kofi's child, but they are paying the same school fees. I don't know if you get my analogy, but because Kofi's child has put in extra effort to ensure that, no, I study hard, he is above other students, they are paying the same school fees. The school is a very good school. They are all paying huge school fees. So my point here is, everybody is operating within a certain regime where people are putting money. Spurs, we saw the league table, I think last week, we ranked them in terms of teams that have spent and the trophies that they have won. Spurs are actually third in there, but how many trophies has Spurs won? So let us agree, maybe he's not the best or greatest manager in the history of the Premier League. For me, I do not think he's there yet, because, listen, for whatever Alex Ferguson has done, you cannot debunk it. Though you may say, okay, he spent 28 years and the trophies, but still, there was a certain revolution that has come with Alex Ferguson. You can argue same with Pep Guardiola. And I was watching a documentary that was done by the EPL, where they spoke about, right now, you go to League 2 teams, and there's a way they want to play. Right now, teams have adopted inverted fullbacks. Teams have adopted having goalkeepers to play from the back. There are a lot of things that people are picking books from managers, and there's nothing wrong. Everybody picks from everybody. But let us agree that money does not play football. It gives you a certain advantage. Because we could list some of the players that City bought. That Julian Alvarez, who was at some points one of City's main men, how much was he bought for? 20 million euros. But there are strikers teams parade right now who are being bought for 70 million euros, and they are not giving the return forward. So it's not about spending money. City have spent, yes, but they have spent wisely. City will buy 10 players in a season. Out of that 10, about 7 will go on to become key to their success. 3 will obviously fail. I mean, nobody gets it right. So for me, let's not bring in the issue of money here. Let me throw the same question to Percy. Percy, let's look at Arsenal and where they lost it. Then we'll come to the issue of Pep Guardiola and the issue of is he the greatest. But Arsenal, because we're having this debate off air. Where did Arsenal lose it? Because they were on top of the league for close to 79 weeks, while City had been on top of the league for about 69 weeks.
This one, I don't think this is common knowledge.
Do you still blame the Aston Villa game?
It's the ask, because I don't know why we are so centered on the City game, because with respect to the City game, when was the last time City even lost at home? They are already set. In fact, they've already set the record for the longest. In fact, one of the longest unbeaten runs in their own half.
I'm trying to recollect.
So you don't use City's home match as a yardstick that, okay, we can win there. Arsenal had the chance to play against Aston Villa at their own backyard, and they lost. For the City game, of course, I don't want to blame them so much, because if they had opened up, City would have humiliated them. Like, in fact, they didn't want a deja vu of last season. They did not want to see that, because last season it was a similar manner. They wanted to go match them boot for boot, and it's ended up in a total annihilation. So the best was that they wanted to close up gaps and not really relent and try to maybe play with them boot for boot.
And they went to City 2 on top of the league. So the best thing is not to lose.
The best is not to lose. But the mistake they actually made, the very moment they lost against Aston Villa, I had it in my mind that City or Arsenal chances were... So for me, the only teams I was actually thinking would be able to be matching themselves were Liverpool and City. And Liverpool's capitulation also started with... what's the name of my boy? Amad Diallo starting the whole.
Liverpool started their.
They started with the domino effect of Amad Diallo at FA Cup semi-final.
Europa game to Atlanta, I think.
So
then Crystal Palace.
So from there, the whole thing started just falling. So for me, and Arsenal actually shot themselves in the foot. Because you are going against City. This is a team that can decide to go 13, 14, 15 games unbeaten just to make sure that, because it's more or less like they do the calculation.
So what do you do? Why are people blaming Arsenal? Because you have said here that City can decide, and I think Kofi last week we said it. In April, they've set a record for having the last 5 seasons, 28 games unbeaten in April.
They don't.
When the April month comes in, they just kick into a certain mentality, a certain gear, and they do not lose. So, if you're an Arsenal, what do you do?
If you are an Arsenal, what you do is you don't lose against Aston Villa.
Oh, please, everybody. Loses.
Now, see, I want to use this one to delve a little into what Kofi was talking about respect to money, and you were throwing all things over. And now, listen. First of all, I'm even surprised you made a statement of course, you retracted it, saying that he was the best manager and blah, blah, blah.
No, I've not retracted.
Okay, yes. You've not retracted.
No, in the history of the Premier League, my question still remains. In the history of the Premier League,
he remains the...
Can we...
In 8 years.
Can we say that with the limited time that he spent in the Premier League...
No problem.
Can we argue that in 8 seasons, 6 league titles, 4 Carabao Cups, 2 FA Cups, and he's about doing another FA Cup?
1992-93. That was the first season. United won. 3-4, United won. 4-5 was Blackburn. 5-6 was United. 6-7 was United. 7-8 was Arsenal. 8-9, 9-10, 10-11. So from 1992 to, that is 2002, out of 10, United, or out of 12, United won a possible of 10, losing 2 on last days. 2. Blackburn was a goal difference, all because Andy Cole hit a post. Arsenal in 1998 was also on the last day. 10 seasons or 12 seasons, United lost 2. Even if I extend it to 2000, by 2003, Arsenal won 1, United won again. So by the time it was 2004, out of 14. So if you check the way United had dominated. Yep. And United was never third. Never ever third until 2005. So United. So
that's why somebody would throw in the argument that
unless you probably have not followed
10 years, you win 8 out of 10. Somebody in 8 years.
No.
If
12 years, they won 10.
Lucky. If you do
12 years, you win 10.
Yes.
Somebody in 8 years has done 6.
So you wait for the person. Listen, you don't listen. If you talked about it, you talked about FA Cups. That was, you were using all of those.
So let's put everything together. Because it's the Premier League.
It's the Premier League.
Yeah. So now, in that 12 years span, how many FA Cups in Manchester?
Now in that 12 years, on top of my head, United won the FA Cup in 1999. United won the FA Cup in 2004. In 2004 too. United also won, and United won the first 2 league titles. United won. The first 2 league titles United won were all doubles. Double. So 92, 93, 93, 94. Then 96. So it was United hardly won a league, just a league in a season. Either a league and a Carabao, a league and an FA Cup. So United never went a season since the Premier League started from 1992, United never went a season without a trophy until 1998. That was when Arsenal came and won the league. And that was when United went through the cycle again. Never went through this whole cycle again until 2005. And never went again until, David Moyes' season. Even he won a trophy. Okay. So, for United's domination and what Sir Alex Ferguson did, you can't really use, of course, for Pep and whatever he's done, I think I can put him second.
You think we should not rank him?
No.
Because if you look at the duration and the time and everything.
Okay. For the 4 consecutive trophies, I give it has never happened. Okay. The only teams who were ever able to do that, Liverpool did 3 a row, United has done 3 twice. Apart from that, so as of now, there were 3, or let me say there are 4 records that were in the Premier League. 1 was a treble, and they've been able to do it. 2 was to go 4 consecutive. That one was unprecedented. They've done it. So the only ones left are the unbeaten, which is Preston North End in the first one, and Arsenal. And the last one is how do you even call it? The last one is not to be relegated. And even that one is debated because the year that Arsenal they got relegated, they changed the league format and they started. Yeah. So for that one, I wouldn't even use it because they were relegated.
You believe that Alex Ferguson still remains the greatest?
But it's not a matter of it is not a matter of I believe. I'm surprised we are making this whole city fast, making it look like we've not seen.
But what they are doing, they've done.
It is something that has happened before.
Well, if you check 4 league titles, have you seen some before?
No, it's not. It's not happened before. Exactly. But I mean, if you put everything in context, it's not really. Percy is trying to talk about the dominance.
The dominance.
You understand? So I mean, no. So if you are talking about 6 in 8 and hypothetically 10 in 12,
all right, then I agree with you guys. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you guys. But guys, I think that my guys have had their take. They believe that Pep Guardiola is not there yet. We should wait. I do not think that he will do 10 years. I don't think he will do 10 years.
Well, we are not saying it's not there yet. I think that he's top 2. For me,
top two,
yeah.
But will Pep do it? He says he's continuing to. His contract ends next year, but I do not think he will go. He will go next year.
Go when they are found out.
He will. Sure. Let's see what happens. But I mean, the likes of Ebenezer Tete who are watching us live on Facebook, and all those that are watching us live on Facebook, and lots of guys watching us live on Facebook. What do you think? Percy Kofi believe that number 2, they will accept it that he's probably the second greatest manager that has graced the Premier League. They believe Alex Ferguson is the greatest. What do you think with what you've seen Pep Guardiola do in English football? Should we, start talking about him in the light of the greatest manager in the history of the Premier League? We want to know your comment on Facebook and on YouTube as well. Kofi, the question that we started with, would you consider Arsenal's, season a failure? And I was talking about the numbers. Every single aspect of Arsenal's game has improved from last season. Point, goal conversion, every single thing. And this season, they had the best defense, 18 clean sheets. They arguably had 2 of the best, center back pairings in the Premier League in Saliba and Gabriel. I think that where Arsenal got to this season was as a result of these 2 guys. Everything about them has improved. I mean, in terms of even player acquisition, Declan Rice took the team to another level. A reject like Kai Havertz took the team to another level. So if you look at everything about Arsenal, they seem to be improving year in, year out. This is Arteta's 5th season. He's just won the FA Cup. He did that in his first season. Would you consider their season as a failure or would you mark it as a success? They qualified for the Champions League, placing second though. Aside that, nothing trophy-wise to show for.
Well, I don't think that Arsenal's season has been a success. I do not even want to mince words. Come on. Arsenal were second in the league last season. And then they made all of these reinforcements, wanting to buy all of these players in the hope of closing the gap. Yes, I don't think they have. I mean, on the basis of what we've seen this season, they capitulated when it mattered most. And that was one, that has been the theme that's run through the pattern for Arsenal. Last season, they capitulated when it mattered most.
Someone said that for years, Arsenal gloried in 4th place. And at some point, I think most of us were saying fourth place is their trophy. I mean, a lot of us were saying that because they seem to take pride in qualifying for the Champions League, and they were okay. And at the latter days of Arsene Wenger, fourth place was literally okay.
And they lost it.
And they lost it. And they came down for about 5 seasons.
Europa Kings.
Exactly, for about 5 seasons, they were not qualifying for the Champions League. But last season, Arteta took them to the Champions League. They got to the quarterfinals. This season, Liverpool faded off. City would have walked away with the league title. They've pushed City to the last day of the Premier League. And like I said, they've bettered every single indices they put out last season. And you still think that...
Well, I think it all counts for nothing. What do they have to show for it? Nothing. Arsenal spent the most money in the off-season.
Technically, Chelsea did.
I mean, if you take away, Chelsea have done this for 18 months. You understand, a year and a half. But if you look at the money that Arsenal had to splash on the players they did, Arsenal spent a lot of money.
They brought in
Kai
Havertz.
Declan Rice was 100 million. That one alone was 100.
So Arsenal spent over 200 million pounds.
300 million.
Exactly. So
over 300.
we should not be having this conversation. We should not
It's
be
a failed season.
It's a failed season. It is a failed season. People want me to believe that Arsenal are making progress under Arteta. But hey, this is his 5th season. The only trophy he won was in the COVID era. We put him in the same bracket. We put him in the same bracket. We put him in the same bracket as Liverpool and their winning of the league title.
Chelsea won the COVID Champions League.
I think that, listen, I think what Arsenal has done with Arteta this season, it meets the eye for people who are not probably...
If this thing that happened under Arteta had happened for Manchester, wouldn't you be excited?
I wouldn't be excited. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer finished second with Manchester United. I wouldn't be excited. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer
back to back
finished second with
he
Manchester
actually did
United.
So a third,
I am not excited about whatever is happening. You understand?
Should Arsenal fans be happy with Mikel Arteta? 5 years.
Well, I think that there needs to be an introspection. Honestly, there needs to be an introspection. Because, yes, they've come this far, but still they are too far away. They've come this far, but still too far away.
I think they've closed the gap.
I don't think they've closed the gap. We keep saying this on paper every year. Next season will begin. Yeah. And you see, mind you, it's not just about City. I am sure, and put me on record, next season, Chelsea will become another force again. I am this sure. So? If you watched the trajectory of Chelsea over the running of the PL, I am very sure that with the things happening at Manchester United now, proper structures will be put in place. Manchester United will rise again.
I believe United will rise again.
So the point is that all of these conditions that we see us now wanting to thrive in are not permanent. It won't happen again. This was Arsenal's season to lose, and they've lost it. We are here sitting and talking about the fact that they have had a failed season. They had how many points? Nothing to show for.
89 points.
Nothing to show for. Still where they are when they began the season before. Who are they going to buy? Are they going to chase? I hear that they want to sell Jesus out. You understand? They are looking for a proper number 9. But I think that, listen, as Arsenal supporters and Arsenal as a fraternity need to start putting Arteta under the microscope.
What has Arteta done? Jurgen Klopp spent 9 seasons at Liverpool. Do you know in his first 5 seasons, he actually went dry?
Well, I think that
his first 5 seasons, Jurgen Klopp won. Nobody talks about it.
Are we including him?
And he was spending, and it wasn't like he wasn't spending. He was buying.
I think let me use this for sliding.
No, so yes, I'm coming to you. Would you consider Arsenal's season a failed season?
Now,
looking at everything that
I was listening to this interview by Giannis in NBA, and he was talking about is the last 2 seasons. You see, they won the championship in 2022.
Yeah.
Then 2023, they were not able to get to
fell
even
for
the
them.
yeah,
This
and not
season
even the
was
conference.
for
And
them.
they asked him that, is his season successful? And he asked them that, what is success? And they were like, successful like successful. And he was like, okay, you are talking about success. Okay, Michael Jordan came into the basketball in '84.
Yeah.
He was never able to win the championship until 1991.
He actually lost more games than he won.
Yes.
But he's
So,
considered the GOAT.
but you call him
Debated, arguably.
successful. Then you talk about Jerry West.
Yeah.
He went 9 straight final, lost first 6, the same team. Celtics, you meet, you lose, you meet, you lose. And he won only 1. And even after that one, he lost the other 2 against the same team. But then, when you talk about Jerry West, he's won just 1 championship. But he's considered as one of the greatest players that existed.
So it depends on how you define success.
So for me, what were the goals for Arsenal this season?
Obviously, one to be in the
Yes,
Champions
and
League.
I would
So to probably win the league,
and
because of what
I
happened
would
last season.
actually use my own ways to probably define. Now, Arsenal some previous seasons would really consider this a massive success.
Yeah.
They started with FA Cup, they pushed forth, they came to Champions League.
Yeah.
Then last season they were second.
And this season,
So last season, if we were talking about last season, is Arsenal successful? Hell yeah, we all raise up our hands. Arsenal is successful.
but not this season.
This season, it is so obvious that, okay, so from 2, where do we go to? Ultimate, podium, pinnacle. You should be at the summit. Arsenal brought in Declan Rice, 100 million. Arsenal brought in Kai Havertz.
Brought in
They changed their goalkeeper because they said it wasn't good.
brought in David Raya.
They brought in Raya.
They brought in Timber, who got injured.
In the midfield, Arsenal have arguably the best defensive midfield squad in the whole Europe, because they have, what do you call it?
Partey.
Partey.
Partey has been injured for.
No, I'm talking
half of
about
the season.
squad. With respect to defensive midfield, there is a Rice. Then there is my jumping a defender, the one that scores the penalty jump. What's his name? Jorginho.
Yeah.
And they also have Partey. 3 options, 1 position.
But most teams do have options in one position.
Tell me a team that has defensive midfield options of 3 that can compete with this.
City have
The same position.
City have Rodri.
Rodri,
City have Kovacic.
Are you so is Kovacic? You tell me, is Kovacic better than Partey now?
Kovacic? For me, I'll pick Kovacic over Partey.
Are you serious?
There's no
Okay,
better-
you give me the 10. Give me the
Unless
10.
you don't see what
But you know
Kovacic
Kovacic
does.
is not a defensive midfielder. He's a box to box.
But he's still.
No. I'm not talking about a makeshift. I said 1 position.
Oh yeah.
Okay, give me the 10. You wouldn't be able to give another.
City.
You wouldn't be able to
He had
give
this
another.
season.
It is just Rodri.
Okay, Rodri.
They
and
don't even
Kovacic.
have any other conventional. That is why they bring John Stones in to be a
No,
makeshift.
for John Stones, there's a way the City want to play. That's
So
why
I'm trying to say that Arsenal had options over options. So obviously, Arsenal's target is not to be second. If it was last season, obviously we will all rally. Okay, Arsenal did well. They went with City boot for boot. You had your chances to make the mistakes and learn from them. Then a season after, you repeat the same mistakes. The very mistakes that made them lose last season, it's the same mistakes they repeated.
What did they do?
Last season, as at the time we were left about 4 matches, Arsenal was leading almost 8 points.
That's true.
What happened? Draw upon draw until they got humiliated by City. And this season, you had the chance to lead. In fact, they had their own destinies in their hands. Win as many matches as you can and be on top. That's how City does it.
And they were doing it.
And they lost to Aston Villa. You want to win the league against the same team you are pegged against you were pegged against last season. Why do you go and decide to play? Of course, you are trying to play a defensive game and maybe reason why Arsenal will never be as great as Chelsea in this Premier League era is what Chelsea does. Now, let me tell you, if Chelsea wants to win the league, if I was 2009, 2010, Chelsea against United, when we were pegged against each other, Chelsea went with United boot for boot until they met. And when they met, the funny thing was that I thought, okay, Chelsea had lost to Tottenham 3-1. They meant the fool.
Yeah.
United met Chelsea, and Chelsea did not close the game. United was on top, but Chelsea won. It was a John Terry header and Frederick McKenna scored, and Chelsea was consistent. They never flinched.
Yeah.
but
And Chelsea, it wasn't just winning, no. They win with convincing margins. Fine. Even the last day, they scored 8 against Wigan.
It's you know,
So,
Kofi, it's a bit.
But let me just put it so that a year before, Chelsea had lost the same title to United, 08-09. Last minute goal by Federico Makeda. The same Makeda. So the next season, this is a team that makes changes. The next season, when they were pegged against the same United, Chelsea did not make that mistake. This time round, they beat United convincingly and they went consistent. So for me, of course, Arsenal on the average have done well, but I don't think they're happy. It is not success because you had the chance to choose between. You see, Arsenal a chance had FA Cup in their sight.
Yeah.
They had a Champions League and they had the league.
I'm thinking about it.
No, I am saying that Arsenal had that chance.
Arsenal were thinking they win the Champions League.
No, I'm saying that Arsenal had the chance to make the treble. That is statistically. And from all the indications, they sacrificed everything, absolutely everything for the league. So if you sacrifice everything for the ultimate that you wanted to win the next season,
You don't win.
and you don't win it, you don't call it. I wouldn't say they've had a very bad season.
No, I'm just saying.
It is not
It is a failed season.
It is a failed season.
It's a failed season.
It is a project failed. We have to probably recycle, go back to the drawing board.
Federico Makeda and one name just dropped in mind. Hey,
Bebe or Obatan.
They've had players who remember that Cameroon, Eric Jemba.
Solid Cameroon.
Was solid. They've had the likes of Manucho or come and pass through. But I mean, let's switch the conversation back to Manchester City. If you were City, you did a treble last season. You're on the verge of doing the domestic double this season. If it happens, and no, let me even rephrase. You did it last season, the treble last season. You've done the 4-peat this season. If it happens that you do the double this season, going into next season, what will be your mindset? Because in the Premier League, there's nothing more. How do you think that these players can, like we always say, and Percy has always been saying, as a person, you get to a point where you self-actualize. The next thing is, listen, there will be some form of dip, until in psychology we say it's an extinction. Then you rise again, What will be the mindset of these players going to next season? Is there a record they should be looking at?
Well, I think it's pretty much simple.
Oh, I'm okay.
If you were a City player, would you have something to play for next season?
There's obviously something to play for all the time. You look at the guys in that dressing room, you look at Kevin De Bruyne, you look at Kyle.
Everything there is to it.
Yes.
He's won everything.
He's won everything there is to it.
24 years.
Yes,
in 4 days, in 24, he's won everything.
He's won everything there is to it. There is to win, sorry. But they've kept going. That's the point. That has to be the mindset of elite.
So as brilliant as an analyst as you are, what do you think has always been that push factor that for the last 5 seasons, they seem to be there all the time? A team could get 97 points and will still not win the league because City is getting 98. A team gets 92, they will not win the league because City is getting 93. City is getting 100 points. City, they are a shade above you. What do you think has been that thing?
I think that in the minds of the City players, and I think I've read and seen articles like this, you understand, in the minds of the City players, they are not competing with anybody. They are competing with themselves. You understand? I mean, and it's the mindset of elite athletes. You understand? I mean, you look at them. You look at the fact that they feel that there's another level in them they can get to. So it's not really about the chasing pack. It's about themselves. You understand? If you think that you can be better than you were last season, and if you look at the dynamics of what has carried City this far, last season you realize that there were players in that dressing room who rode to the fore and then carried the team. You look at the trajectory of the team this season. There have been other personalities who have come to the fore. We speak about the fact, I told you Phil Foden. Look at Phil Foden in this season. So the mentality. So for me, I think that the mentality has to be us against the world. You understand? I mean, for managers who have succeeded, it's always been that siege mentality, us against the world. as against what everybody else thinks. And I think that the City players are not trying to outdo anybody. They are trying to outdo themselves. And so you realize that they think that there's another. For me, when I look at the City project, one person whose name constantly springs up has to be Kyle Walker. For me, I look at Kyle Walker and I look at his age, and then I look at his discipline and the ability for him to want to get better. And I think that it typifies the mentality of the club that he plays for.
City have not gone to the market. They buy for every position, but for right back,
this is a guy who is 33.
They've not really gone out to
Ordinarily,
for a right back.
Ordinarily, you would think that he should be fading out.
Yeah.
But he's come up against some of the very best players in the world, even today. And then you feel that there's still another level in him. For me, I think that that's the mentality of the City players. It's the ultimate mindset of champions. It's the ultimate mindset of elite, and I think that they are moving with that flow.
So I'll come back to you, but let me take some few comments. We had close about 40 guys watching us on YouTube. So Facebook. So Ebenezer says, guys, good evening. I'm watching the show live inside in Chaban. James Scott, no side, Sports 101. Just like a TV series, Arsenal fans will wait next season. And another comment comes here and says that okay, so it was his birthday, and says happy birthday has been said. Kofi sometimes speaks like a disappointed fan, not an analyst. You saying that United will bounce back. So Shan Kiki says that his facial expression shows Negaman is really disappointed in Manchester United, but it's hard for him to admit it on Sports 101. Good evening. Hey, God is watching you. Comes back to says, Kofi, we heard this statement before, United will bounce back, yet you still get disappointed every season. Lucky Pep is a fantastic manager, but Sir Alex Ferguson is the GOAT. Let me take this comment here. Next season, we are coming like Kakai. Arsenal, Masresa. Lots of... United should do a proper pruning of the squad. Lots of comments coming here. Guys, thank you so much. Keep the comments coming and keep sharing the link. Keep watching. Kofi, this season, let's rank the top 4 teams in terms of how the teams have performed. As for City, they've won the league. Arsenal, on a scale of 10.
Well, I think that in another world minus the City team, Arsenal will be league champion.
So on a scale of 10.
I would give Arsenal 8.5.
Then why are you saying their season is filled? Because
No,
if my child comes home with 8 out of 8.5 out of 10, well done, but you can do better. I won't tell my son you have failed.
No, but he didn't get the ultimate. You have nothing to show for.
Somebody forget the ultimate.
No, you have nothing to show for, and it was within your grasp.
Oh, that's
the
true.
point. It was within their grasp. This was Arsenal's
That's
league
a
title.
huge score there, 8.5.
8.5, because I think that I am not too pleased with all of the things that have happened to Arsenal. I think that they lost the league because of their mindset.
So 8.5 for Arsenal. Liverpool capitulated in ways I didn't think they would capitulate, because I thought they were the team to push.
We have made a lot of mockery about Arsenal, but I think
they're letting them slide.
Yes, I think that we need to spare a moment for Liverpool, because Liverpool have hugely disappointed. If you look at Liverpool, and if you look at the configuration of their team, and then if you look at the history that they have had in recent times regards the PL, you wouldn't expect them to capitulate in the manner that they did.
And especially when Jurgen Klopp was
exactly. I mean,
out, you thought
for me, I think that Liverpool, I'll give them 4 out of 10, because if you look at where they were at a certain point in time, Trent Alexander-Arnold granted an interview to CNN and said that Liverpool and the squad were gunning for the quadruple.
Yeah.
You understand? So that was how confident they were, because they were in the Carabao Cup. They won the Carabao Cup eventually. They were in the FA Cup. They were in the running for the league title. Let's not forget that they were the team that spent the most number of weeks at the top, regards the Premier League. And then they were also in the Europa League. You understand? So you look at Liverpool and how they've had to crumble, I think that they deserve a lot of mention.
I agree with Kofi. Arsenal have failed. Arsenal sacrificed all other competitions to focus on the EPL and still fail. This makes you a failure. Shan Kiki again comes back with the issue. But guys, I want to know what you think. Do you think Pep Guardiola belongs in the conversation of the GOAT? My guys say we should wait for now there. Until then, Alex Ferguson is the GOAT. But do you think he belongs in that conversation? I want to know what you think and your thoughts on the rankings in terms of where would you rank the teams? Kofi has given Arsenal 8.5 over 10. Liverpool 4. The Kofi I think is low. Maybe a 6.
Oh,
maybe a 6 will be okay.
4.
Chelsea.
Well, I'll give Chelsea 5. I think that Chelsea essentially shot themselves in the foot, and I don't think it's their own making. A lot of the times you would hear a lot of Chelsea fans shout Pochettino out. I mean, these are gullible football supporters who do not understand the dynamics of football. I just checked the league table and they are sixth.
Chelsea are sixth.
They are sixth.
They've qualified for the Europa League ahead of Manchester United.
They have qualified for the Europa League if United do not win the FA Cup. If United wins the FA Cup, if United wins the FA Cup, Chelsea play in the conference.
No, but United won't win.
Well,
City
that's another.
So United are actually playing in the conference league.
No, United
will not qualify for Europe. So it's Newcastle that would
exactly.
But I think we need to credit Pochettino for the run in terms of the last 6, 7, 8 games.
That's why I would give them 5 over 10 because I think that in the last 10 games Chelsea have been absolutely superb. I mean, it looks like they are getting the whole parts together, and they are playing a kind of football that is known of the manager. You know, Pochettino has come to the limelight because he plays a certain brand of football. He's a student of this famous Argentine
Marcelo
manager, Bielsa, you understand? And Pochettino's principles are to be tight at the back, be frugal at the back, be efficient up front, you understand? And if you look at Chelsea over the last 6, 7, 8 games, these are the principles they've tried to bring to the fore.
Would you say it's also down to the fact that the stock of him being fired, and so probably he was
I don't think he ever stood a chance of being fired.
There was always conversation about him being
people
fired.
who were leading those chants, forgive me, but do not know football. You know, you do not put a whole team together like Chelsea have done and expect it to gel in a season. No, I think that in terms of how far they are up the project. No, I think that in terms of how far they are in the project, I think that they are even further ahead as we would expect them to be because you buy 15 plus players. You don't expect to build. You know, people fail to realize that building a team is not just about people who turn up. Yes, it's not just about people who turn up on the pitch. It's about the chemistry in the dressing room. Those things are priceless. It's about the relationship. I've heard that Brazilian wonder kid. So I think Pochettino has done a fantastic job. He's been able to push. At least it buys him a lot of time for next
Your favorite Manchester United. Now, Manchester United ended the season with 60 points, a goal difference of -1. So City actually had more goal, difference than United had more points.
Well, you can decide to go for the truth, but I think the Manchester season has been very disappointing.
So, if you gave Liverpool 4 over 10, how would you rank United?
Well, I'll give United 4 over 10. They were never in the run. I mean, they were never.
Kofi. That's so unfair. You let our viewers start thinking that you are so United. You do not tell me.
But you asked
Liverpool
me a specific.
No,
you asked me.
Qualify for the Champions League. You rank them 4 over 10.
Lucky.
United with everything they've done.
Lucky. I think that
you still rank them in the same category as Liverpool.
I don't think that you forget the things you ask us. You asked us in the first part, that in the context of the top 4.
Okay.
So yes, you asked us in the context of the top 4. In the context of the teams that finished in the top 4 positions and where they were and where they finished eventually, you asked us to make a grading. I think there's a different calibration.
Why would you rank United season as 4 over 10?
Well, I think that I've said it countless times on this show that the very things that Eric Ten Hag promised to bring Manchester United when he was unveiled as manager of Manchester United have not come to play this season. You look at the fact that the number of goals they had to concede, and the number of goals they had to concede was down to the fact that there was a lack of control within the ranks of the team, in midfield, in defense.
That's down to the manager.
Exactly. So that's why I'm saying that the things that he spoke about when he was unveiled did not come to pass. But there again, I think that you can cut him some slack. I do not think that in the history of the PL, we've seen a team that has been ravaged by injuries more than Manchester United has this season.
So
Manchester United has been ravaged by a lot
the
of
moment
injuries.
the moment you brought that up, and you know, as we do with Sports 101, you see, we happen to be blessed with, you know, very, very good production. So I have the rankings of teams that have had issues with injuries here, and sadly it's not Manchester United. So it's actually Chelsea who have had more issues with injuries. They've had a 138, United are third. So the issue of United having to deal with injuries, Chelsea have had more injury scares or
that's why I have
more
a problem
injury
with you,
problems.
because I think that these statistics that you have pulled is vague.
They're
It's
from
vague.
Sky
I'll tell you why it's vague.
Why is it vague?
One player could be injured for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. How many number of bodies have suffered those injuries? That's the question.
Like with James.
Exactly.
But
Look at Reece James. Look at Reece James. I think that these statistics are a bit vague.
They are not vague.
Because you would have to provide the bodies that have accounted for this number of injuries.
Okay. So here are the numbers. So Chelsea rank first they've had a total of 54 injuries with 14 players as a whole. And combined, they've missed 309 games. This is from Sky Sports. And Newcastle are second with a total of 38, injuries, with a total of 11 players having to go injured, with in terms of minutes combined, 258. Then Brentford, I thought United were actually third. Brentford, third, with 21 injuries, total of also 11 players, having had 255 of minutes in total being mixed. Manchester United have had 35 injury situations with a total of 10 players. So still, Chelsea have had more players being injured than United. But Chelsea have not complained.
I don't know where these figures
Sky
are
Sports,
I'm
not making them up. Here they are. You can see it. I mean, I wish our producer could get it so that he would put up on the screen.
The point also is that who is injured. That's the point. Who is injured?
Does it matter?
It matters. It matters. Who is injured? Who amongst the people? Yes, I know that a club like Newcastle has been ravaged by a lot of injuries this season. But the point is that for Chelsea, who are those who are injured? It could be fringe players who are injured. But you look at Manchester United, at a certain point in time, United were rid of their whole back four.
But technically that's
Luke Shaw, Varane,
Maguire.
I don't even want to mention Maguire. Lisandro Martinez, Wan-Bissaka. At certain points, there was no Dalot.
But Wan-Bissaka is not a starter this season. It's Dalot and Luke
exactly.
Shaw.
But even Dalot has had to go through injuries. As we speak today, the back four is not even complete.
That's true.
So for long parts of the season, and there's a cliche in football that says that good defenses win you the trophies.
Of course.
You understand? I mean, if you Ferguson had a certain conviction that you do not change your back four.
You don't. Right.
You can change everything that is in
United's
football.
woes this season are down to the fact that they've had lots of injuries, but
especially
it's not necessarily down to how bad the manager has been.
I think there's been down to the number of injuries, because if you cannot,
solely down to the number of injuries.
Look, I chanced upon a conversation where I looked at the back four combinations of Manchester United, the number of combinations they've had over the course of the season. Ridiculous.
Well, amongst all the teams in the Premier League, they have had a plethora number of back four combinations, changing they are back for. But Kofi, let's wrap up. Let's wrap up, guys. I mean, we've had a very brilliant season. Manchester City have done what a lot of people think they can do. For me, it's nothing new. It's just that the Arsenal supporters were clinging on false hope, hoping that at least something would happen at the Etihad, but it didn't happen. Next week, we will come back and wrap up the entire season. We're going to look at everything that happened in the season, the numbers and all. So prepare your team of the season. Percy will prepare his team of the season. Probably I will prepare my team of the season. Then we'll come back and we would also wrap up our season, God willing, next week. But it's been an interesting show tonight. We started to try to build up to the show and all. But guys, thanks for those who are watching us this evening. We had lots of guys watching us this evening. Those who commented, we appreciate it. Those who also watched us on YouTube as well. Lately, I've been a stubborn host. I don't go to YouTube as well to bring your comment, but I'll do that hopefully next week. But guys, thank you so much. Kofi, they are champions. City are champions. I don't know what your final words to the City fans out there. United, we are coming.
To the City fans?
United, we are coming.
Well, I think that City deserve their moment in the sun. I'm a Manchester United fan.
Are you not hurt?
I've never been worried about City. I think that, when I still look in the rear mirror, City is too far wide apart.
Now they have 10.
Probably, they have 10 leagues?
I think
I don't think they are in double figures
yet.
I don't think they are in double figures
yet. They have a long way to go.
Well, so I still think that City deserve.
We are rather ahead of Chelsea.
Football. It's about the moment. So when you have your moment, you win as much as you can, as many as you can. So I do not begrudge them. I think that they are having their moment.
So you saying club never in 9 years they have a moment because he won 1 in 9.
Well, we'll have to have a conversation about.
We'll come back and lots of things have happened in the Premier League. So De Zerbi is leaving. Jurgen Klopp has left. David Moyes is leaving, so there will be a lot of
Ten Hag is following.
Ten Hag, I do not think so. There will be a lot of managerial, musical chairs moving around in the Premier League. We'll come back next week and we'll also wrap up the Premier League. It's been Percy, it's been Kofi Asedu, and I try to hold you guys out. Thank you so much for joining us on Sports Roundup. We are out.